A value is a lens of which we look through life. It is so much harder to live into our values than it is to tell other people how they should be living theirs. Weaponizing values are when we have a particular value and we think that's how everyone else should be.
I value kindness. How then do you move towards a position where people are kinder to each other?
Well, you can't make people kinder to each other,
No.
but you can do kind things. So many people do this values work and they make it about what I should be, as opposed to what are the things that will have me lead a life that resonates with who I am.
Could a family have values?
Yeah, we have family values.
Oh,
Family Values an album.
Yes, it was, I
Corn?
think, Corn. Well, you don't often get a guest here for the third time, which is a charm. Kemi, it's so exciting whenever you're here.
Oh, I feel excited to be here with you all.
We
again.
love you so much.
Love you too.
Yeah. Our Lord and Saviour is back.
Oh my gosh. That got pretty intense pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Not in a religious way, just in a turn
Yeah,
of phrase
In
way.
a cool way.
Yeah, no, that
It was totally cool.
super cool. Please welcome our Lord and Saviour, Kemi Nekvapil.
No pressure. Just light and breezy.
Yeah.
Informal chat.
It's easy. Well, there's a very good reason you're back, Kemi, because you have a book, an incredible book that is out now, Grounded Success. Hugh, let's give everyone a little quick introduction.
Can I read some stuff?
Yep. As long as it's related to Kemi.
Just some stuff.
The AFL was founded in
Well, I'll just say something first before I start reading. She's an executive coach. She's a personal coach. Highly sought after. Also a highly sought after international speaker, facilitator of the Hunger Project Australia and podcast host of the Shift series. Kemi studied leadership and purpose at the Gross National Happiness Centre in Bhutan and is a former Dare to Lead facilitator where she trained with Brené Brown. Kemi has published The Gift of Asking, A Woman's Guide to Owning Her Wants and Needs Without Guilt, Power, A Woman's Guide to Living and Leading Without Apology, and by the time this episode's come out, has released Grounded Success, A Woman's Guide to Cultivating Success on Her Own Terms. In very small font, it also says men can also read this.
Yes. One thing I
It
found...
actually doesn't say that. But
no,
that was-
but that is...
I'm reading between the lines.
This is the thing. There are many men that read my books and
Yes.
send me beautiful emails about
Yes.
what they got from reading it. So, yes, men and non-binary people are also allowed to read the book.
Yes.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know why, it makes me emotional. And makes in advance of, I haven't even read it yet, but I
Yeah.
think it's the time it's spent with you and how impactful it's been on us as a team. So to know that we can take this away and just, well, not this one because it's the first copy.
you don't get that.
I don't get that one, but in time we will
Yes.
get to be moved and become better because of it. So
Thank you, Hugh.
we're very excited to have you back.
Beautiful.
And there is like because we have spent a lot of time with you over the last couple of years, even outside of the actual podcast or live shows.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because we as a team wanted to figure out what our values are. And there's a whole chapter about values in the new book.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind just explaining the values work that you do?
Yeah. What I love to do is values work because for me it's the anchor point for most of us. And what I have found in my work is that when organisations are willing to take the time to bring as many people into a room together and work out individual values first, it creates synergy, it creates connection, it creates vulnerability. So, and everyone has buy-in to actually connecting with each other. Then we go to, and now what are our company values? So the people maybe that on the lower level of leadership that don't really feel they have a voice or a say in those rooms, suddenly they have a connection with every single level in that room and then they feel that they are part of it and then everyone is engaged and connected to the company values and that is what creates culture.
Yeah. I mean, in our situation, like Josh fought pretty hard to not let Bridge Bella and George be involved. But I was like,
but you were like, let them in.
yeah, I was like,
let
I think
them
it's
in.
important.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe like hierarchy could be one of my values.
It's a bit of it's. I mean, for us when we did it, it felt like a real bonding, an opportunity to get to know each other in a way that you maybe otherwise wouldn't.
Yeah, it's kind of a trust exercise. It doesn't include people falling into each other in various ways.
Yeah,
and it's
I
been
was surprised when no one caught me.
Yeah, well, that's right, because it's not within the value.
Yeah.
Should have been though. Anyway, we can talk about what the values turned out to be.
I think without those discussions that we had, they're just words. Like for me, if I see those words and I have no memory of all the brilliant discussions and how we got there, to me, they're just words on a wall, and they're always, there's only so many words they can be, so it ends up becoming generic by nature.
Yeah.
But without being involved in that conversation, they don't hit. And then once you've had those conversations, I know why we got there. I know more about the people I work with.
Yes.
It was such a great experience. Yeah.
And just to clarify for everyone, when you say words, you mean like the words that are our values
The
that we
values.
kind of got to in the end.
Yeah.
Because we did do a values episode with Dr. M last year.
Yeah, great
which
episode.
was really, really amazing and such a good kind of like entry point into what values are, I guess. But this will be a lot more in depth.
Yeah.
And I guess some people who listened to that episode maybe took on some values. Potentially have got stuck along the way or hit a roadblock and don't have Dr. M's phone number, so they can't call her and ask her what to do.
Oh, just text me. I'll send you the number.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, we've all got it.
Why doesn't anyone have her number?
Actually,
We should
it was
put that show notes.
Show notes.
Yeah.
Dr. M's number and home address.
Noted.
And so hopefully, we're not going to give out your number, but hopefully
Great. Thank you.
hopefully what we cover in the next little bit will help people become, ironically to use Em's words, help them become unstuck in their values work.
Yeah.
Because I just, knowing what you cover, I think this will be incredibly helpful for people. And it is such a great thing to do, to assign yourself values and to live by them. So is it helpful for us to say what our values are and then discuss them through all the points where you can go wrong in choosing your value?
Oh, yeah, that's good, because I thought as well it'd be great to share some of the processes, especially when we all came together, like kind of how people found the process of doing it, because I think sometimes we think the idea of values is like, it's going to be just this really joyous work, and then but actually it really takes some thought and some feeling. Like if I were to navigate the world, the world of my life with this value, would I lay my head down on my pillow tonight with a sense of integrity? That no matter what happened through the day, I showed up living through the lens of my values.
That would be a dream day.
Yeah, and it is. And that, yes, which is why it goes in with success. Because when we subscribe to an idea of success that's out there to be got to one day, we miss the fact of, I just lived in a value-aligned day today.
That's beautiful.
I lived in my values today. That was a successful day today.
I love that.
Regardless of what's happening externally.
And it's often like, now that you've said that, there are days that feel really good. And you can't necessarily pinpoint, that was fun to do that.
Yeah.
But probably what it is, when it feels really good, is like, you just accidentally lived in alignment with your values.
Exactly right. I had a great day yesterday, and this morning when I was doing my morning journaling, I was writing out the things that had it be a great day yesterday, and it was all value aligned.
Yep.
Like it was all just little bits of things that have meaning and value to me, and that's what made yesterday a great day. So
Love it.
Do we want to talk about, we'll just say what our own values were?
Yeah, so maybe we'll go through individual, like we did on the day, we'll go through individual values first today.
Yep.
And then out of that, you can, we found our company values last time, and maybe that's the order we'll do that today.
Yep.
The imperfect values, yeah.
right.
Okay, well, I can start. So mine, the value that immediately came to mind for me, because in your book and when you did the session with us, you kind of give us a list of like 90 different potential values, and you sort of look at them and see which ones connect with you the most. And immediately the one that I chose as the first one was creativity.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, well, I love being creative. So creativity, that'll definitely be one. And that went in. And then eventually for reasons we'll go into later, but eventually creativity was actually is not one of my values. It's care, courage, and croissants. And croissants was not one of the 90.
No, that's 91.
That's 91. The reason it's probably not a traditional value, But what it sort of represents, I guess, is a reminder to me to have the croissant.
Yeah.
So whether that be do the fun thing, meet up with your friend, even if you think you haven't got time or you think you shouldn't because you're trying to eat well or whatever the reasons may be, it's sort of like a reminder of life is short, do the fun thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm stuck on the fact of not having the croissant because you're trying to eat well. Surely that's eating croissants is
not that,
eating well.
Yeah, it is exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. Yeah.
So that they're mine.
Yeah, beautiful.
I can't remember what mine were.
What the original were, which is a good sign.
I couldn't pick them. I found it, as you said before, it wasn't necessarily a really fun activity. I found it quite stressful.
Yeah.
And I've always been shocking at making decisions. And this is a classic case of me wanting to get them perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And so I couldn't quite nail them. And I put some down that I was like, I think these will be good and people will like them.
Yeah.
And then they just didn't stick. So I redid them yesterday as an exercise. I haven't said these out loud to anyone, but curiosity, flexibility, and self-compassion.
I know someone who's about to believe my ghost stories.
Flexibility and
curiosity and flexibility.
It's true. You and
even our values have.
Yeah, but our values sometimes have a limit when it comes to siblings. When it comes to sibling stories, then the values go out the window.
Oh, they're really good, Josh.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Now I want them.
Well, and that's the other thing. And it's great because there's one already that I feel is not a red flag, but a pink flag that I'd like to.
Awesome.
So, yeah. Should we wait and hear yours first?
Yeah, so I also didn't remember them.
Yep, that's feedback.
But
Yep.
every morning when I do breath work, there's a question after answer is what is your intention today? Or how do you want to be today? And amazingly, those three things, that's what I say continually to myself.
Okay.
Like be present. When you're with someone, really connect with them and look for fun moments. So I have actually been doing them. So I think it actually did sink in subconsciously on that day we did them because or maybe it's just that's what I feel like maybe they're a little bit too aspirational because it's like I think that's what I have to do. I have to do that.
Yeah, and
so
that's
we
the
can
thing.
discuss,
So what would you say the three were that you got to?
Connection.
Yep.
Or connected.
Yep.
Present.
Yep.
And fun.
Okay, great. Okay, great.
Nice. Well, Kemi, what are yours?
What are mine? Well, I've just changed mine recently. So I've had the same, I've changed them probably a year ago. So I've had the same values for about 8 years, which were or are well-being, connection and growth. And well-being and connection, I don't think they are ever going to change. But actually growth has become cultivation. So cultivating relationships, cultivating writing, literally cultivating the earth as a flower farmer now, cultivating spaces, that just for me had a little bit more expansion than growth now. So that's what my three are.
Brilliant.
Okay, so should we go back to Josh?
Yeah.
Just see. So what were the three that you have decided?
Curiosity, flexibility, and self-compassion.
Okay, so my two questions are around self-compassion and flexibility.
Yeah.
Because I think curiosity seems to sit right. Does it sit right for you?
Well, yeah, it's funny you pick those because curiosity just feels like lock it in.
Yeah.
Like that's done.
But can I because I remember when we did the session, Kemi, I remember, and this was the reason that I dropped creativity, because creativity I realized was like, well, I don't need reminding.
No, because you are creative. It's part of who you are.
It's in me. It's like but for me, I would say curiosity is the same for you, or am I wrong?
No, I think if I think about when I'm at my best and my happiest, it's when I've got a sort of unjudgmental curiosity about stuff.
Okay.
And for me, curiosity in its purest is lacking all judgment, and you just want to learn what's going on.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah, great. So then tell me about self-compassion.
See, this one's complicated, but it's mainly because I wanted to have compassion, but I think I'm pretty compassionate to people, and I don't think it's something I need to focus on because I think it sort of comes with being me, whereas I think I'm shocking at being compassionate to myself.
Yep.
So I think allowing myself more self-compassion would lead to a happier life.
Okay. So the thing that's interesting about that, which is why I question that, because obviously I listen to the show and everything, is that could be what I would term a val-rule.
Okay.
So it's actually a rule, not a value. It's I should be more self-compassionate to myself.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
The word that came up for me, ironically, was actually care. Like that there may be other words within there, that it's not about you, I need to be something different than I am. It's more a case of if I gave myself or if I lived through the lens of this, self-compassion may come in there, but that's not actually what it is. And it's only for you to feel it. So even though with Ryan saying, I'm not sure about curiosity, no, 100%.
Yes,
that is
yeah,
it.
yeah,
It's locked in.
yeah.
But it's you being mindful. Could the idea of having the value of self-compassion actually become a stick that you beat yourself with? I should be more compassionate. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I could self-weaponize it.
You self-weapon. I didn't have that as a subtitle. Self-weaponization.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
So, this idea of actually being careful that so many people do this values work and they make it about what I should be, who I should be, who I hope to be, as opposed to what are the things that will have me lead a life that resonates with who I am. So it's not that our values are something out there that we have to pull towards us. They're already there. We just haven't necessarily brought them up and named them. And then when we think of them, it's like, yeah, that is actually who I am.
I have found that confusing in the past of like why self-compassion is a rule and not a value, because it's something that has to be imposed as a judgment of me to be better, as opposed to revealing something in me that is good enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And even the fact that you added the self, like that was the
giveaway.
fuchsia flag for me. Yeah, the fuchsia. I'm compassionate to other people, but I'm not to myself.
Yeah.
So therefore I should be more compassionate to myself. So therefore my value is self-compassion.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you're down to 2. I don't know how you're going to go now.
Flexibility and curiosity.
Tell me about flexibility just quickly.
Can I touch your toes?
Yeah, purely. I actually, as we started recording, it's a weird thing to bring up. I got a back spasm.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I wish I was more flexible because I'm in a bit of pain at the moment.
Oh.
But flexibility is that I
Want to go back and listen to the noise Ryan just made then. I'll do that when I listen to this episode. That was, it was quite genuinely caring.
Caring. Yeah.
Care. Certainly wasn't a croissant.
The flexibility is that how do I say this so you won't say it's wrong? I can already feel like it's wrong.
We are going to tease you so much.
Let's get curious about that, though. Let's get curious about that. What is it that you can feel is wrong?
It's because I think I know it's that I'm aspiring to be more flexible in my life. Like I think of an example would be in parenting when I'm trying to get my 3-year-old to put their pants on and they're just refusing to, causing every issue in the world to stop me from putting these effing pants on.
Very powerful 3-year-olds.
Very defiant,
very powerful.
Yeah, very powerful. Flexibility in that moment would be an ability to joke, laugh, not get stuck on an emotion, my anger and frustration rising. It would be the ability to step outside the situation for a moment and think, it's not really a big deal. Don't get so angry. Just have fun with this.
Yeah.
Be flexible or creative and come up with an idea that actually bonds you together in this moment rather than causes a wedge because you're frustrated. And I think about, like, in all aspects of life, am I getting stuck on my own preconceptions of what this situation should be, or am I being flexible to moving with what's happening and what's going on so I benefit and everyone benefits?
See, it's so interesting, isn't it? Because it's not obviously my role to share with you, but I'll share with you what was coming up when you were saying that. Curiosity could be an umbrella value where flexibility sits in there.
Oh, yeah.
Because curiosity requires us to be flexible because...
Open-minded.
Open-minded.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Can you talk a bit more about umbrella values?
So the way that I talk about it in the book and when I work with clients is that there's 90 and people can add more, like croissants. And then I ask people to get them to 10 first of all, and it's so great to see people say, oh, yeah, a bit of care. Oh, yeah, a bit of love. Yeah, I had a little bit of integrity. Yep, connection. So people do their 10 and then we sometimes work on it. They come back in the next session with their 5.
Mm-hmm.
We then go through the 5 and it's in the 5 that I find the umbrella values come up. So let's just say that somebody has curiosity, flexibility and adaptability as their 5. And my question would be, is it possible to have flexibility without curiosity, for example?
Yeah. No, I don't think it is.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Okay. Is it possible to have curiosity without adaptability?
I got these questions mixed with my head.
Yeah, they mix with
Me
mine
too.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it possible to have curiosity without adaptability? My brain is like saying
it's an absolute roadblock.
it's like I can see a guy just shrugging.
And this is the thing, like even asking those questions as well, I have to sort of stay tuned in on them as well. And there's no right answers. Josh is deep in thought. There's no right answers. It's just when people choose these values that are quite close together. Because sometimes what happens in me asking those questions, so can you be curious and not flexible? Can you be adaptable and not curious? Can you be flexible and not... Once we have those questions...
My man just fell over.
Then you have a sense of, it might be, curiosity is the umbrella for all of that.
Yep.
Yeah. Covers it all.
It covers
like
it all.
The master value or something. Yeah.
So I find it a lot with people that are really into their health and they may say health. But then sometimes for some of us, for me, I had health as one of mine when I did mine, over a decade ago now or something. But then I realised actually it was well-being. Now, I need to make a caveat. I'm not talking about wellness, which is something completely different and I believe has a pretty big shadow side to it right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is about being a well-being.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, just to have health as a value was more kind of like my physical body and illness and disease. But well-being is about the media that I have inputted into my life, the people that I spend my time with, how I'm creative in the world. Like that makes me a well-being. So if I just had health, that wouldn't cover any of that.
Yeah.
So I get what you mean. Like literally being a well-being.
Yeah, being a well-being. Not about buying wellness, but
Gotcha.
being a well-being.
And I guess that could look different for everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which kind of then leads us on to weaponizing values and how that can be. Weaponizing values are when we have a particular value and we think that's how everyone else should be.
Oh.
Okay.
I feel like there's a lot of weaponizing of values going on online at the moment.
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
And it doesn't lead to happiness. It just leads for suffering for everyone. And I suppose a story that I can share from my personal life around that was this was many, many years ago, and I had been seriously betrayed by a friend. And I was speaking to another friend about this betrayal, and I was incredibly upset. Like I was crying, and I just said, I cannot believe she did this and all these things. And this friend said to me, you think everyone should be loyal, don't you? And I was like, yes, everyone should be loyal, blah, blah, blah. She just said, no, they don't. And it was a real moment for me of realising I value loyalty. It's not one of my 3 core values, but I value loyalty. But it doesn't mean that everyone else around me has to be loyal.
Yeah, that's a really tough pill to swallow.
Well, that's then where boundaries come into place. Okay.
Because and I've never been able to put it in like an eloquent way like that, but I think I've often had a bit of an issue with how, and not even about values, but just how, like if someone is a very kind person and naturally like very compassionate, and then if someone else does something that is like a bit unthoughtful or cruel, they cannot believe that this person would do that. It's like, because you're not them. They're not you.
Yeah.
You just got to accept that they're just not kind like you are.
Yeah, or they're not you.
They're not you.
And this is the thing, is that this is a huge part of coaching. I have to be curious. I can't go in with judgments about my clients. I have to be curious. They'll say something to me which I might think, wow, that's, whatever it is. But my question is, tell me more about that. How do you feel about that? Why do you think? Because this is actually where compassion is built, in us being able to ask the questions where we don't understand somebody else's behaviour, as opposed to weaponizing our values and putting them onto other people and then othering people and making them wrong. You know, the only agency we have is living into our values as individuals. That's all we have. And then how other people decide to act around us, you know, I know we all know this intellectually, but I'm going to say it anyway. We don't have much control over other people, not even 3-year-olds. You know, we want to. I was 10 years into my marriage until I turned to my husband and sort of said, oh, this is who you are.
What had he just done?
No, nothing, but just that thing of like, oh, I've spent these years trying to
Right, okay.
a
Gotcha.
little bit of this, maybe a little bit of that. Maybe he could be a bit more this, and then I'll be a bit less this, and you know.
Yeah.
And he turned around to me around the same time. It's like, oh, this is who you are, where you stop projecting onto the other person and can just be with the other person.
But then, like, if I'm in a situation, say work, or maybe work's a good one, in that I think this room, like, this is definitely not the case for our office, but imagining a situation where I think I value kindness and I think this whole office could do with a bit more kindness to each other.
Yep.
How then do you move towards a position where people are kinder to each other, or is that the wrong question?
Well, you can't make people kinder to each other.
No.
But you can do kind things. So if your value is kindness, the question then becomes, what is kindness in this situation? And it could be calling everyone within the office together, within the team together, and just saying, I am feeling that we could be more kind to each other. What are other people thinking and feeling? That's it.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just occurred to me that I think you, for something I've always admired about you is that I think you are brilliant at kindness and many things, and humour. And I think you're so good at just doing it in front of people and providing an example of that, and not sort of like trying to get people to be like you, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
and then they
I
work
agree.
out a way to do it in their own way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Because
Yeah.
actually,
Great.
if you're to name that, that's actually called manipulation.
To like try and make people
Yeah,
do
to
it.
try and make
yeah.
people do things.
Yeah, but it's, and I think it's why people enjoy being around you so much, is that you provide an example of, you're never trying to get other people to be you or do this thing, but you just provide an example of something that looks nice
By doing it.
by doing
Yeah.
it, and it's
Yeah.
nice to be around.
It's lovely.
Did Hugh, was there a moment when you thought that Kemi was saying
Yeah.
that you're manipulative?
Yeah, the way that I thought that.
I don't think that's what she's saying.
No.
It's not. It's not. But there was a moment where I reckon you would have thought, hang on, is she just saying I'm...
I was just thinking, no, now we have the High Lord and Saviour. Like, I can pass on the baton now.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
Great.
that he's
That
proven
is very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is that like the difference between manipulation and like modeling, for example?
Yeah, 100%. It is so much harder to live into our values than it is to tell other people how they should be living theirs.
Oh, that is such a good point.
You should be doing this. You should be doing that. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? And actually, you know, I love the idea of the finger pointing to everyone else. There's 3 pointing back at you. It's like, maybe just check yourself before you start going out and telling everyone else how they should be living and what they should be doing. It may mean that if that person is destructive or whatever's happening for them, that you don't spend as much time with them or no time with them, depending on, you know, what the relationship is. But actually, our area of control is how we govern ourselves in the world. I don't know why I use the word govern. That's what just came.
Sounds great.
Yeah, does it? Word conduct.
Conduct
Navigate.
ourselves, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
words that I've never used in my life.
That's the thing about words. There's so many to use.
There's heaps.
Yeah.
We got to get rid
You
of some.
can't get them all. Yeah.
Can I ask about, in the book, you talk about aspirational values?
Yeah.
That feels like when it's said, oh, that could only be a good thing.
Yeah. Well, the thing about aspirational values is, once again, they're outside of you. So it's something that you're kind of grasping for. And I wish I was more, as opposed to I am. So there's no kind of end to aspirational values. And depending on who you are and what one's temperament is, aspirational values can once again lead into self-weaponization. I should be more organised. I should be more kind. I should be, you know, I've worked with clients who said, I should be kinder. I'm like, you don't have to be.
Is that kind of like what you're saying? It's sort of the reverse of how we judge other people's values to not be good enough or in alignment with what yours are. But then this is more like you're judging your own.
Yeah, you're
values.
judging your own self. Yeah, by saying it should be something else. Yeah. Yeah. And I tell you as well, another great way, apart from having the list or any kind of values lists, another great way to understand what we value is when other people's behaviours have some sort of trigger or some irritation for us. So it could be that we're constantly around someone that is unkind and isn't generous, and you just like, and it's like, sometimes that can be a clue of, I really value kindness. And that is why I'm struggling with that person. But instead of trying to change that person, it becomes, how can I be kinder to that person? How can I be kinder to that person?
Well, that is, if you use that method, as your brother, Josh, I can think of things straight away. Like, I know what triggers you in other people. And that leads me to what your values.
Could. Yeah.
Well, the first value I think of is humility. Like, if someone is not humble, your head explodes. Like actually, not actually, but you really
happens a lot.
But it's interesting though. Yeah, because I remember that came up though when we were doing the personal value. Humility came up, and I think we did take it off of the table at that point because Josh was humble. Do you remember that idea of he is it?
But so this is where I'm a bit confused, because we were saying before, it needs to be who you are at your core. That's your values at your core. Yeah. That's what I think he is at his core. Or is it like, what's the point in having it when he already lives and breathes it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you should have a value that you live and breathe, or you shouldn't?
No. So a value is a lens of which we look through life.
Yeah.
Okay. So I give you an example. At one point, one of my values was commitment. But as I was being more and more committed, which meant saying no to some things, putting boundaries in place, I realised, I just am now a committed person. When I say yes to something, I'm a yes, and when I'm a no, I am a no. So then commitment suddenly wasn't a value of mine. I kind of absorbed the value. So then for me, having my 3 current values are the current lens of which I'm looking through life. And it was interesting what Josh said about wanting to get the perfect ones. Our values change as we change.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
So you can change them.
So you can change them. I mean, probably not weekly. That could be confusing. But our value, I redo my values every year. I just check in. Do these still feel like the lens that I want to navigate the world with?
Gotcha.
Yeah. And it's not, this values work is, well, maybe there is science behind it, but it is very much more of this is a tool that is used within coaching often and in other modalities that many, many people find helpful, which is why it's so mainstream in the language. Know your values. You just need to know your values, but most people don't. I can speak to audiences of thousands, and I will ask, could anyone in here stand up right now and tell me their 3 core values? And generally, whether it's 2,000 people or 200, 1 to 2 people will stand up that can name them in that moment.
Yeah.
So then my question becomes, if you're not navigating your life through your values, what are you using? What's the compass?
Yeah.
Well, you get lost. I find I get lost.
Yeah, we get pulled, we get distracted. We don't really know. We're doing what we think other people want us to do. It's possible to show up and have our values, and it's not that we don't get distracted, but we have something to come back to.
Yeah, I remember Dr. M, in her episode on values, she did talking about how it's a direction that you move towards as opposed to a destination. Yeah. And I feel like if I think about my last year and my life really, drifting off course is a very gradual process, and you don't notice that you're off course until you're quite off course, I find. Yeah. That I'm like, I'm in a place here where I'm just not feeling great, feel in a bit of a funk. Yeah. And I look back and I think there's a lot of things that have been missing, but I've been sort of going, I'm all right. I'm getting through. I'm working hard. Things are good. And I think if I was more clear on some of these values, it would help me to check in each day that I'm not starting to drift off course. 100%.
Or when we do drift off course, we can actually go, I was so out of my value set when I said yes to that thing. And then there's the curiosity. The curiosity isn't, I should have, I'm not living into my values. The curiosity is why? Why did I allow myself to be pulled? And no one's doing anything to us. Why did I allow myself to be pulled out of my value set? And it's generally stuff that the ego wants us to do, whatever that is, It's either because it looks good, or they this, or they expect it of me, or it could be duty, it could be all of these things. And we all have areas in our life where we have duty and responsibility. It's just that if that stacks up more than anything else in our life, it's going to tip, and then we can move off of the wrong path, like you say.
So some real world examples of like where this could come up in is like obviously jobs that you're, going to do, or you're deciding whether you want to do this job or work here or dating this person or even like going to your, I don't know, weird uncle's house for Christmas.
Yep.
And you're like, I don't want to go, but it feels like a duty.
Just an issue your son and Charlie and Augie will be saying to themselves this Christmas.
That's right.
This is for them when they
You have to come to your house. Come to your house, You have to go to the weird uncle's house.
He's going to show me all of his runners again.
Yeah.
Charlie would love it. More.
So if someone is like invited to a relative's house or a friend's wedding or something like that they don't want to go to, and it doesn't feel like a place they want to be.
Yeah.
However, they know that if they don't go, it will cause ripples within the family or friendship group.
Yep.
How do you navigate that?
It depends. Like when I hear that, it's like that could be if your value was courage. It could be I'm going to go. I don't want to, but I don't want to make the statement of not going and the ripple effects of that.
But could it also be courageous to not go?
Yes. And it could also be connection. Like I'm going to go because I want to connect with my wider family. But it could also go, all I need to do right now is connect with myself. And whenever I'm in that room with those people, I lose my sense of self and I don't go. So this is the thing about values work. I think people think once I've got my values and I know all the answers. No, once we get our values, things get really difficult because people around us can get upset. We start to change how we're living in the world. And that has an impact on people. Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative. Hopefully it's positive most of the time, but it's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. It can be, especially if, let's just say that you have the value of well-being, but they really haven't had that as a value set. And they know that if they were the particular person, they're just going to be out all night drinking, whatever their thing is, then it's like, okay, I value this relationship. And if their other value is connection, and one is well-being, probably the suggestion is, I'll meet you for brunch.
Gotcha.
Which is a combination of breakfast and lunch, as I've,
Recently.
Have you only just recently worked that out? I love that when that happens, though. There are so many words people will say things.
I really loved it when that happened.
Because there's always that moment where you go, this is my thing, this is the curiosity thing. It's always, you don't know what you don't know.
Yes. So we were in the middle of, what were we just talking about? Something about brunch.
Before brunch.
Oh, choose brunch. Go to brunch instead.
Oh, yeah, that you would go to brunch instead because then you get to connect, but also you're looking after your well-being.
Yes.
So you're not cutting that person out. It's not about, it's just like, if I'm living into my values, what are my options here? And I work with people generally, we have 3 individual values. And sometimes all 3 values can be at play. Sometimes it's just 1. Sometimes it's 2. But what I do talk about is that when we hit all 3 of our core values, that's when we're having peak experiences in our lives. That's when we're just like, okay, I am connected with people here. I'm feeling good within my body, like I feel like a well-being, for example, and we are cultivating, a creative project together. Like that is value-based living.
It helps you shift the focus. So it's a more positive outcome. So for example, like if you agreed to do a job and you really regretted saying yes, you're giving a talk, for example, giving a talk and you're dreading doing the talk, but then maybe one of your values is connection.
Yep.
And you go like, okay, well the talk will be hard, but I guess on the upside, I'll get to meet all these people.
That's exactly right.
And I'll get to have this connection. So you can almost reframe something as a good experience.
Yeah. And though sometimes our values feel bad because other people around us are not really enjoying our values, because we are saying no to the thing or we're maybe butting up against societal expectations. And so that's why I say that value-based living doesn't necessarily make living easier, it makes it harder. Yeah.
When I was in year 8 at school, we had a geography teacher he had a pair of glasses for looking at the blackboard. We had a blackboard back then in 1993.
I felt that then. I felt like blackboards.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. He had a pair of glasses for looking at us.
Yep.
He had a pair of glasses for each textbook, and he would wear them on his chest. And he'd
3
flip
different
between them.
glasses?
Yeah, he'd flip between them as he was like, and quite often he would someone would say something and he would go, and because he put his wrong glasses on, he would squint as he put this, so he'd just flip between 3 glasses the whole time. Anyway, that's it. That's the story. No, there's a point to that. I just wondered as I was thinking about my values that I had connection, presence, and fun, and I feel like you could definitely umbrella connection and presence. So I'm not, because I thought of this because you were just talking about how values are what you look through a lens of, and for some reason I thought of
what glasses are you putting on?
What glasses you're putting on, and if
Mm.
you've got 3 glasses, you might sometimes put on. It's like, what pair of glasses do I wear here for
that's
this
exactly
situation?
right. Yeah.
For me, just then I was thinking, gosh, I reckon my brain could really benefit from having 2 values of fun and presence.
Yep.
And what do you think of that?
What do you think of that?
Oh,
Mm.
it feels great.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah, let's do the thing that works for
I
you.
feel like I've taken something not heavy, but like slightly
Yeah.
heavy out of my backpack.
Yeah, great.
Mm.
Because I was working with a client the other day and she was just like, I've got to have 4. Like, great, go for it.
Yeah.
Mm. You're wrong, but go for it.
Go for it. I said, let's get curious around. You're going to go out into the world now for 2 weeks, into work, into your personal life, whatever. Let's see what feedback we get from you having those 4 values, because it may be that one recedes. It may be they all stick and they all work. Play. This is the thing. It's not like you choose values and you say them and then it's it. You have to then kind of go and try them out in the world. And I know that Bella shared, the other team member, like since she's got her values, it has changed her life.
Mm.
When it really locks in, it locks in.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It is great.
So I'm interested to know where goals fit in here, because a lot of people will. I'm picturing people coming back to this episode at the start of the year going, right, so a new year, new me, I'm going to have my values, and goal setting is a big part of that. Where does goal setting fit in for you here?
Something that I have found really powerful that I use for myself personally is that I now have 3 goals for the year, and each one is an extension of my values.
Could you give us an example?
Yes. So an example of that with the value of cultivation, that I now have a writing practice that I am cultivating, and which means that I am going to be writing some essays and sort of putting them out into the world in a way that I never have before. So that's kind of a really big, scary goal, but that is that I'm cultivating the practice of writing.
So practically speaking, how you came up with that, you start with the value.
Yep.
And you go, okay, how is that value going to be presented, or how am I going to act on that?
How am I going to live into that value as a goal this year?
Great.
So it's kind of actively working out, this is how I'm actively, instead of it being a concept in my head, this is actually where I'm putting my life energy, which I speak a lot about in the book. Where is our life energy going? So I am actually creating goals that are aligned with my values, so I know where I'm spending my life energy, and I'm spending it in areas that are important to me.
Love it.
I've always kind of resisted and repelled against goals for some reason my whole life. But the way you described it then is like, certainly with the value of curiosity, the idea of attaching a goal to that is quite exciting.
Yeah.
To know that that will mean I'll do more of that this year.
Of that thing. That's right.
That's enticing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, your goal could be, I'm curious to know what my other 2 values should be.
Could be.
That's a goal.
Could be. It could be.
It shouldn't be, but it could be.
And also I need to speak to that as well, just around the goal thing as well, because the fact that you're repelled by goals is great. That means that's not generally what works for you. People assume that I'm into like 5-year, 10-year goals. I have no interest in 5-year, 10-year goals personally. If a client comes to me and wants to work on their 5 or 10-year goals, then that's what I'm there to do. But also, we're all changing all the time. I don't know who I'm going to be in 5 years' time, so I'm not going to set, that sort of goal. There are areas of our life where maybe we can anchor goals that are further out in time, but for me, the values will have us create goals that are more grounded.
I'm the same. I've never had 5-10-year plans.
But it
goals.
does work for, it works for some people. Love them. Yeah.
I wonder if now is a good time with this idea of you do them once a year. I wonder, it's probably been about a year since we did our values work together.
Has it?
Has it?
Ish.
It feels like a few months ago.
Oh.
It was more than that.
Wow.
Yeah.
More than that.
But maybe we should say what the company values are.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be interesting to talk a bit about how they've worked for us and where there's been sort of challenges to them and how they've helped us as a group of people.
Yeah, and certainly not as a self-indulgent activity. I think it's interesting for people who are thinking from it might be a workplace, it could be a sporting team, it could be a family, just as a group.
Yeah.
Like it's a little bit different, I guess, when you're coming up with group.
Could a family have values?
Yeah, we had family values.
Oh, wow.
Up on our blackboard, actually.
Right.
Yeah, in our kitchen.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Okay.
Is
Yeah.
Family Values an album?
Yes, it was, I
Corn?
think corn.
I see. I don't know corn, but I've got a feeling I don't need to.
You don't need to.
thing.
No, okay, great.
not
What is it,
all
Aussie rock?
No,
Oh, no.
it's
No,
American.
It is American.
Is it death metal?
I believe they called it industrial metal
Oh no, not my thing.
or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, not my thing.
And in the spirit of what you're saying before about there not being just like a management team decides the values and then they're dictated down, as we said, we did them all together as a group. So we do have a mic ready if anyone from the team wants to talk about this, because I think it certainly we've been living them as a team. Who wants to say them?
Okay, so one of them is care.
Courage.
And joy.
There we go. And there were some of those that were locked in. What would you sort of say in the process are the ones that came quicker to you?
Care.
Care was the one that was,
Yeah.
everyone agreed with that one.
Like it was such a, it really rung true to the three of us as far as care for everyone in this team.
Yeah.
Care for every guest who steps inside the studio.
Yeah.
Care for all the listeners.
Yeah, and care for the other members of the team as well. Like that one landed with everyone.
Care for the topics that we talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and care for the guests. And then courage.
I think we got to them pretty
Those two.
Those two, but
swiftly,
then
But
there
then
was a big deliberation.
Then there was a big deliberation around joy.
Yes. Yeah, because I think originally, did we have fun?
Yes, fun was there.
Yeah. We had fun.
That's right. Yeah.
And that didn't, it was between fun and joy.
It was my fault.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I think it's perfect to bring Bridget
So
in.
that's Bridget.
But I think this is an interesting thing as well, because when we looked at courage, the fact that then, there was quite excitement about the idea of it being fun, and it was getting pretty cemented down that it was fun. And it was literally Bridget with courage said, I'm not really feeling that.
Well, as Bridge quite rightly pointed out at the time, she was the fun police.
Yeah, right.
But we all listened.
Yeah. You were courageous and listened.
But she was bloody right. Whatever.
Yeah. So, Bridge, do you want to share what because I think this is what becomes interesting to people is when we look at what does that word mean to me, or what does that mean for the organisation? But Bridge, do you want to share what it was for you when the difference between fun and joy?
And Bridge, before you start, Bridget Northeast is the executive producer of The Imperfects. She's basically runs the show. So,
and for people on YouTube, she's behind a curtain.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I felt like fun wasn't enough, and I started to get, when we were sitting around that table, I started to get kind of anxious when everyone was talking about how fun was feeling right for everyone else, and I started to feel maybe a bit alone in feeling like it's just not quite enough for me. Like, I really value fun, and I think we have so much fun on this show. It's such a big part of being able to do what we do, but I think I needed something more, because for me, like, there are some things about this job and this show that aren't fun, that are like really hard, that like make me really question my morals, I feel challenged a lot of time to be a better listener and to be more empathetic and to hear different people's opinions and stories. And the vicarious trauma of that can be really real sometimes. And there's I have to bring all of that into the work that we do to create these episodes and tell these stories. And sometimes that means making tough decisions about what to include on the podcast. So there's all these elements that aren't fun, but when I add things like pride and integrity into fun, I felt like joy was a better word that umbrellaed fun, pride and integrity. And I can be joyous in all of the work that I do, and all of the ways I work with each of you and with Belle and George on the team as well. So for me, fun just was so small compared to what joy represents.
God, everyone listening is just thinking, thank God she's running this show.
And when I hear that beautiful way that you explain that, Bridge, as well, what I hear is that joy actually becomes the umbrella.
Yes,
for fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fun's in there.
Yeah, fun is in there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that was a really great insight, and that was like another thing that helped us, like in sharing all these thoughts and how we were feeling about the values. It like for me, it gave me like an insight into what Bridget's experience of The Imperfects is, which is very different to my experience of it.
Yeah.
Like I have nowhere near the exposure that Bridge has to so much of the stuff, and Bella and George and Josh as well. So that was really just even helpful, like even values aside, to get an understanding of everyone's experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so powerful when people can get as many people within a team in a room. And as I said, it takes time, but this is kind of the in this very sort of tech world that we're getting into now, we kind of have things that can make us more efficient, but connection, it just takes the time it takes. You know, I know that we're told we can hack connection. I don't believe that is true. Connection takes time, and it means listening and being with other people and understanding who they are. So what I have found when I've done this process with teams, as you said, it actually changes the culture of the teams as well. People know each other. There's a level of vulnerability and trust. So then in the way that we did it, we did individual values first, and then we did the team. And you then had a really clear idea of what each other valued before we then went into, okay, so now what are the company values? And it's not that the individual values necessarily speak into the company values, but just having that grounding of we in this room all know what we value as individuals. And now we as this room are going to work out what we as a collective value together. That is the bit that's missing in a lot of organisations, the together piece. And then there's the lens of courage that you chose as well. So I'm curious to know, how has that been going?
It sort of and this may or may not be true for everyone, but it sort of feels like the more people that listen, the bigger the show gets. To me, it feels like some things require more courage. It just, when we were starting out and it was just like a thing that no one was listening to, and it was, it was sort of like a side project for us. It felt like the mistakes weren't as significant as and not even mistakes, to be honest, but just the decisions didn't have as big of an impact as they might now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that for me, that's changed a lot. Yeah.
I think for me, the episode that I did talking about parenting neurodivergent child, that was the value that I think that was the most common thing people said to me, was very courageous to do that. And it felt it at the time, and it was very front of mind of like, yeah, I'm extremely nervous and my hands are shaking because this is going to take courage to do. And even looking back on it, I think, because part of me is thinking I'm going to get so much, like it'll mean a lot to a lot of people, but there will be people who use an opportunity to tell me what they don't like about me, or will try and pick holes in something that is incredibly personal to me. So I was aware of that in advance as well.
Yeah.
And sure enough, people wrote some really awful stuff to me about it. But in my head, it's like, well, I knew this was coming, and it took courage to do it because of what's happening now. So I think that was a value that was really, really important to me in doing that.
Yeah. And a great example that our values don't necessarily make life easier. Like it's not, to live into courage as a value takes something. Yeah. Beautiful. What about you, Josh? How would you say courage has been showing up in the company?
Oh, it's a tricky one for me. I think I find it difficult because I think I agree with what both the guys have said, and I think it's a great value for us. But there's still a part of me that's like, I think it clashes with the humility thing Hugh was talking about before, is that I don't want people to think I'm courageous at all. And so for me to try and align any of my behavior at work and say that was courageous feels like I'm sort of big noting myself. But I think it really does work as a company value. So it's like, it's sort of, I wouldn't want that to be my personal value.
It's not your personal value. Yeah.
But not doing a topic or not interviewing a guest purely because I'm worried what other people would say feels like that would be not a courageous thing to do. To do it because it's something that we all believe in as a team, and it's something we want to talk about, and there's value to it. Even if we think, people might not like, there's going to be some people that don't like that. That does at work feel somewhat courageous. Yeah. And it's the right kind of courage. And it's sort of checked against a few things. Does that make sense?
Well, it does. And another thing this is sort of where it kind of circles around as well sometimes, to care.
Yeah.
Because the decision not to talk to someone or not to do something, on one hand, could be seen as not courageous, but the reason we're not doing it
is because of care.
Is because of care.
Yeah.
for someone or something or
Yeah.
something.
Or if you decide to do the courageous thing, it's like, and how do we care for each other?
How do we do that courageous
So if
thing?
we're going to do the courageous thing, how do we care for each other?
Yeah. And care for the audience, everyone,
Yeah.
the guests, the audience, the whole lot. Yeah, so it's those two working together is really is the sweet spot, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bridge, I imagine do you have anything you want to say about this?
Courage for me is like the value I probably feel like I have to lean into most, but it also makes me feel the most sick most of the time. Like
Bridge is allergic to courage.
like it's the value that makes you have like the difficult conversation with somebody, or the phone call, or the feedback conversation that you're nervous to have. And I think in this work where we have to get so vulnerable with each other to be able to be vulnerable into microphones, it's like there's a lot of courage that is needed for that. But I also think in like the broader spectrum, sometimes working in mental health and in the media where like you get so much feedback, it's like a constant harsh reminder of everything you're not doing well enough. It can feel like it takes more courage than you have just to keep going or keep doing it, or keep creating. And I think that's where care and joy, for me, I need both of those to fuel the courage. Because if I'm not caring for myself first and then thinking about the team, the business, you guys as hosts, no particular order.
What is the ranking out of it?
If we're not sort of putting care first and then bringing the joy and fun that comes into it with joy, then I don't have the stamina for the courage. So I need all three.
Yeah.
So well said.
George and Belle, do you just, I don't know if you've got anything you feel like adding or you want to, there's no pressure, but just in case you're thinking of something that...
But Bridge has set the bar there, so...
George, thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Long time listener.
So the other value of care, I feel like every decision that we make has care in it, whether it be care for us, care for you guys, care for the whole team, care for the show, care for the audience, what topics we choose. That being said, care often conflicts with itself, and a lot of decisions we have to try and figure out who are we caring for, and I think that's been probably the biggest challenge.
Well, a little bit of context for everyone who doesn't know, George not only edits most of the episodes, but also looks after all the video editing for the social media clips. So George is on the front line of all messages and comments coming in through Instagram, and we get incredible, beautiful, thoughtful messages from everyone. But I don't know if anyone's noticed, but Instagram's actually pretty fucking toxic. So George is exposed to a lot of that as well. Yeah,
and often I'll get stuck because, I'm not exactly sure what the next step is and
where to place the care.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but then also, George, what are your 3 values?
Yeah, I have completely forgotten them, actually.
Okay.
Thanks for calling, George.
That's right.
Yeah, I need to redo mine.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember them, and I just remember one of them was growth, and I remember that I came into a lot of trouble with growth, just trying to figure out in a moment of like a hard conversation or a day-to-day thing, what is growth in this moment.
Yeah, and that's such good feedback again. If we can't remember our values, they're not our values. Like we haven't locked them in. We haven't embodied them. They don't make sense. So whatever you chose, not your values. But then in this situation where you're on the front line of receiving people's messages, it's then a case of what are my core values? Because then you might have 3 other angles of which to decide what that is. And then that also gets measured in with the company values, which could give you various ways to respond or not, or what care looks like in there. Yeah.
I think, George, one of the difficult things I think is, as Ryan alluded to before with Instagram, is that it's not just negative stuff. It's dealing with treating people who have responded with such heartwarming personal messages and responding with care and attention that they deserve. It's not being overcome by the weight of the collective emotion for George and for all of us who have tried to engage or do engage with the incredible people that listen to this show. It's a difficult thing to balance and to get right, because you can move too much in one direction of taking too much time, getting too emotionally involved, that then you can't do anything and you're rendered unable to do the show. you also don't want to be the kind of person that ignores these incredible messages
that people have shared.
It's a tricky situation George is in, and anyone who works in that role on the show.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and that's where I definitely get down on myself, and I'm sure Bella and Ash and Bridge and the people dealing with the emails might feel the same, but sometimes it'll be a really beautiful message or something very vulnerable from someone, and I'll get stuck, and then stuff will happen, and then I don't respond. And that's the worst feeling, because then I'm not caring for that person.
Yeah, and also, George, it's like you're here to make videos and edit podcasts. You're not a counselor and you're not a psychologist.
Yeah.
And it's a huge ask. I think the idea, probably the role of not that you're like a social media person, but you do look after our social media, one of the people who does. And probably as social media has changed over the years, that role probably has changed quite a lot, and the expectations of what is required on that platform is really changed.
Yeah, and I think as well that in regard to something like that, what are the choices that are made in the moment? There isn't going to be one choice that is made all the time. Like, it is complex, because as human beings, we're incredibly complex. And, looking through the lens of care then, if George isn't if it's not George's job to respond to all of those things, which it sounds like it very much isn't, but then the thing is, like, how is George being cared for while being on the front line? That's
he's a very, you can probably hear in his voice, but George is a very sweet boy. And
he's almost a man.
I thought he was a man.
I mean, he's not.
Georgie Boy is his nickname.
Yeah,
So
he's not technically bar mitzvahed, but he is a man. He is a man.
One of the things that I think is interesting that comes out of that is that care has been a challenging one for me, and like there's an example from George. A specific one that I find challenging is that there's been things that I thought would be useful to share from parenting that I think would show care to our audience, to show that you're not alone in this journey. But I don't want to share it because I want to show care to my kids that this is personal stuff, and I don't know how they're going to react hearing it in 10 years. So I've held back. But I think what's interesting in what George said and what happened there is that it's not that care, the value, is the problem. It's actually really good, I think, that it pushes me to think about it through that lens.
Yeah.
Just like going to a party can be courageous and not going to a party can be courageous.
Yeah.
I can at least feel confident that I've aligned my decision with a version of care for someone or something,
that's right.
and it's attached to something.
That's right. It's not, kind of what I call, it's not like a Jackson Pollock life where everything is just kind of out there and who knows what will stick, and I'll be this person over here and this person over here. I remember many, many years ago, a dear friend of mine that had passed away, and when we were at the wake, we were all sharing stories about her, and it turned out that none of us knew her. So none of the stories added up.
Oh, wow.
So that what was then kind of what was a wake and a funeral then became us all pulling chairs into the middle of the room and actually just going, okay, let's work out who she was.
Wow.
oh my gosh.
And I remember coming away from that, and that I'm sort of thinking about it now. It's probably when I really stepped into doing values work. I remember coming away from that thinking, when I die, I want everyone that I love to know who I was.
Wow.
And then that's where the work becomes hard.
That is incredible.
So you're not, I know that there is a school of thought out there, which I'm sure does work as well. And for me, navigating the world as well as a person of colour, there are some rooms that you do have to change who you are, or you're on high alert because you're not quite sure. But generally in those rooms, who I am with integrity with myself, I'm living into my core values. I don't want to be someone in this room and then someone completely different over there and then someone completely different over there and someone completely different over there, because that's then sort of fragmenting, like then what is actually anchoring you in your life.
When people kind of clash, and it could be online or it could be in person, but people have either very differing views on something, which is the more common thing, or what seems to be happening more and more now is someone has a very strong opinion about someone and another person has no real opinion about it. And that could be something in the news, or it could be something within a family, or it could be so many things. But it sounds like what's happening there is it's like they're different values.
Sometimes people actually have the same values. It's their actions that are different, right? Let's say two people value freedom.
Yep.
Right? So for one person, that means I'm just going to travel the world with no responsibility. I'm just going to be free. I'm just going to do my thing all the time. That's it. I'm going to be free. Whereas somebody else, their freedom could be around sort of how they are in the world in terms of their activism. Like they value freedom for others and for themselves, but it's not that they have to go gallivanting around. It's actually how can they create freedom for themselves. Now, they're kind of very binary examples, but I wanted to show how you can have the same value, but your actions differ.
Yep.
Right? Which is why, to be honest, I wish if there was a global value that we all had to have, that we were given for, 6 months, a year, it would be curiosity.
Really?
So I win.
Yes, you win. You win the
I'm
values
so
game. And now we
jealous.
have the Lord and Saviour. I'm so glad it's moved its way around. You just haven't had it
I'm
yet.
next. I'm next.
that's
We got
right. What are you
time.
going to do? What are you going to do? Because, I sort of joke in the book, and I believe this, people will kind of say, oh, I value love. It's like most of us value love. Let's just, and that's the thing, right, is that we think because that person is doing something different than we would do it, we just think, well, that person is just, that's just not the sort. It's like, generally, we don't know anything about that person. The only way to find out why that person is doing that thing, and not because you need validation for yourself, because you're actually curious about humans, is to ask them. I'm so curious. Why did you slam the door like that? Not you shouldn't slam the door. Whenever we feel attacked, we defend. No connection there. We make up assumptions all the time. It's so much more connective and powerful and human to actually ask people. I'm curious to know what just happened. I've got my opinion of what just happened, but I would really like to know what just happened for you there. And it could be that you have the same value, which is connection, but the actions were different.
Yep.
So interesting. I can imagine in that freedom example, or if connection is the, connection is the shared value, and for one person, connection is going to the gym with people and working out, and for someone else, it's partying and drinking.
Yeah.
I can see how when you both have the same value, it would feel quite annoying to see someone. It could be quite annoying to see someone displaying that value very differently, because it feels like, how dare you waste that value, all that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can see how it would feel like a trespass on your own value, but it's really just someone else
living their life.
thing the way that they feel. That represents their value for them. Yeah,
that's exactly right. And also that thing of being mindful of not becoming self-righteous and arrogant about our values.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It's not okay just because, if someone values responsibility, which could very easily be a rule for a lot of people, and you value responsibility and somebody else isn't as responsible as you, and then you make them bad and wrong. This is one thing I know. We all want to feel valued and we all want to be long, but our actions don't always look like that is the case. And whenever it's going back to this idea of humility, whenever I have met people that have a lot of bravado or they're very arrogant, they're the people I'm really curious about, because there's a reason why they've had to navigate the world like that. And it's not because they have a strong sense of self.
Yeah.
Even though those behaviours can feel quite, you also get to something is happening for this person. I don't understand what's happening for this person. So I'm going to connect with this person and see. I have somebody in my world right now who's kind of in my farming rural community who I'm pretty sure has the completely opposite politics than I do.
Yeah.
But we stood and we watched a bird, a bald-headed eagle, for 10 minutes together. And I just decided I will never ask about the politics of this person because there's not many people that I could stand in a paddock and watch an eagle with.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
And we
beautiful.
spend a lot of time together. And who knows, maybe one day, but for me, one of my core values is connection.
And it is becoming sort of easier and easier in a bad way to boil an entire person down to one decision or one thing that they
Belief.
belief.
Yeah. And it's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because I talk a lot in the book about what is it to be success. If success isn't just about work and it's not just about sort of the capitalism model of more, bigger, better, there's something that feels very successful in being able to be connected with people that have very different views from you.
Beautifully said.
Yeah, it is. We clearly need more of that.
Josh, one of the things that I've found very helpful getting parents on a 3-year-old, what I do is I say, I've only learned this recently because I have the same problem with Patrick. I say to him, sorry, Kemi.
No, that's fine. I've had 3-year-olds.
Good segue, isn't
No,
it?
that's fine.
Go on, Hugh. This is fascinating.
I say,
the curiosity is peaking.
I say, do your pants go? I think your pants go here, and I pretend to put them on his shoulders.
Yeah.
And he goes, no. And I go, oh, they go here on your belly button.
Yeah.
And then he wants to show me where they go. And he goes, no, they go here. And I go, wait, hang on, how do I get them to go there? And he ends up showing me. We do it every single morning.
Yeah.
Falls for it every time.
Yeah, because that's the connection piece, though. Do you know what I mean? So there is, as you're saying, and look, I've had young kids at home many years ago now, but in those mornings, like it's there's a lot going on. You know, we've got places to go, got to get the kids to school, got to get them dressed, all those things. My children would sometimes go to school with no shoes. I'm not putting my shoes on. Not a problem. Let's go.
That's so good.
Doesn't matter. Like, what's going to happen? Like, if they cut their foot, which I suppose most parents would be worried about, there are teachers there. People will put a plaster on it. That'll be
Figure
it.
it out,
And then the child will kind of work, that's okay. It's probably good if I wear my shoes.
I actually think most parents care about other parents judging them.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing that Brené talks about a lot and talked about a lot in the Dare to Lead work is this idea that, parenting is just an absolute minefield of people putting their values onto other people.
Oh, yeah.
Absolute
I never did
minefield.
think of that till then, but it's an absolute.
Yeah, and this is the thing, my kids are now young adults, 19 and 21, and my husband and I very consciously raised our children with our values, and we're at a point now where our children are starting to say, hey, that thing that you didn't quite work, didn't actually work for me or didn't work for us, whatever. And I now value connection. So I want to be the parent that says, I had my experience of your childhood as your mother. Tell me about your experience of your childhood.
Wow.
Because it's different,
Yeah.
You asked about family values. If families can come together, there is something around sitting together as parents, or even if you're a single parent with older children, what do we value in this family?
What are Patrick's values?
Dinosaurs,
Yeah. That's a good one.
trucks,
Yep.
There's probably an umbrella.
Yeah, I was wondering if
value
there's
for
an
that.
umbrella.
A literal
and
umbrella.
Darth Vader.
And Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they feel very separate, actually.
Do you reckon he's living in alignment with those values?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
More than anyone.
We should get him. Now the baton's being passed to the 3-year-old. Sorry.
Sorry, Kemi.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
Just, for people listening that sort of want to explore and sort of get into this values work, it's also a form of play. Add some lightness to it. Like, try them on, go out into the world, see what resonates. But just take ownership of what it is that your values are and not putting them onto other people. And the world does shift when we have a very clear anchor of how we want to be in the world that isn't by default, but that we've consciously sat down and basically asked the question, who am I in the world? And what is the anchor that is going to keep me in my full humanity?
Love that.
I feel like whenever I listen to you, I just want more Kemi, and I'm probably not alone in that. Where could people go to? They can read the book, but obviously read the book. Listening to you is a wonderful experience. Where could they listen to you? Where could they hear you speak?
If people go to my website and then register to my sort of newsletter, then I am going to be doing some events next year. So that is the place to find out about all of those things. And obviously this book as well, Grounded Success, is kind of the final book in a trilogy of 3 books that are a woman's guide to, which men can also read. Yeah. And so it's been beautiful to kind of create this body of work that is very much around empowerment and healing and just starting to break down narratives around certain things that we've been told in the world. Especially in the world that we're currently having to navigate with so much change. How do we become the best humans that we can be?
Sounds
Our
good.
Lord, our Saviour. Kemi Nekvapil.
You didn't get it.
Ryan didn't get a go. It's going straight back to
That's
All right. No, I'm cool. I'm
Yeah.
all good. I don't
Yeah.
need to be the Lord and Saviour. You don't have to be the. I mean, it's actually fine to go through life without being the Lord and Saviour. You know, it is.
Yep,
It's fine.
It is. It is fine. It is fine.
Yeah,
You
I can-
sound really happy with it.
Yeah, I'm actually fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. What are your values?
Power.
Power,
Control.
scarcity, and control. Locked in.
So good to see you, Kemi.
Thanks, Kemi.
Thanks,
Good to
Kemi.
be here.
Enjoyed this week's episode but want a little more? Then you might want to know that we have a brand new show called A Little More Imperfects over on Patreon. For a little bit of money, you'll get access to bonus episodes with the three of us every fortnight, early access to live events, plus other things that we haven't thought of yet, but when we do think of them, you'll get them. Visit patreon.com/theimperfects.